Howdy, hey everyone. And despite being a bit new to the FAKEMON scene, I think it's still fun to engage with the community. Speaking of, you may or may not have heard of the 2024 FAKEMON Challenge by Red Paragon G. If you have, great. If you haven't, don't worry. A super simplified version of the rules is you take a pre-existing and well-known trope and, if I may, invert it. In fact, that's where it gets its name. Inversion. An example of this would be, for example, taking the trope of cats hating water and make a water-type cat that loves to swim. And if you want to know more in-depth inspiration, see Red Paragon's video. But for now, let's see what I made. So when I heard that it would be a trope, I immediately thought of one of my favorite tropes, the old mentor character. You know them, you love them, our Irohs, Yodas, and Doc Hudsons. If you somehow don't know what I'm talking about, allow me to explain. In many shows or movies, especially action or adventure genre, there's a character that teaches the protagonist everything they know. Despite being fairly old and frail looking, they're actually among the best in their craft. So how would I flip this upside down? Maybe make a young mentor character. Think Toph from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Perhaps a fighting prodigy that shares its knowledge with others. I knew I wanted a bug to invert yet another trope, though not as noticeable as the main one, being a helpless bug. At first I wanted a praying mantis, because they're cool, but then I couldn't convey the idea I had for the evolution, which you're gonna see soon. I eventually landed on a dung beetle. Not only are they incredibly powerful for their size, but it could also relate to Japanese beetle fighting, one of the main inspirations for the Pokemon series as a whole. And I'll justify it as rotund shape by also basing it off of a sumo wrestler. So I'm starting off with a round body shape, cute round body shape. It's going to be squat over with a very come at me kind of pose. Segmented body parts to convey the bug type a bit. The antennas are going to be attached on the back of its head to look like a headband, and it has a very serious face. Just kind of cute little guy, two-pronged fingers. It has, like I said, a bit of a headband or a bandana. Its colors are going to be somewhat apricorn-shaped to mimic those wooden training dummies, again, playing into its role as a mentor Pokemon. Here is Mentitle, from Mentor and Beetle, a bug fighting type. Naturally talented, these Pokemon are known to share their knowledge with Pokemon who are unable to fight well. Their hard shell allows them to take hits fairly well. They use a complicated fighting style via throwing, rolling, and headbutting. It has abilities that are most easily used in double battles, which plays along with its mentor inspiration. And now to evolve it, and no, I actually don't want it to continue mentoring. Instead, how about the trope of talented individual has something happen to them and they have to quit what they're good at? Something along the lines of professional marathon runner breaks their leg and will never be able to run it again. For our Pokemon, I decided to not exactly flip this trope. Instead, we focus on the main trope, old person teaches young person, and flip it to young person teaches old person. And the reason I chose a dung beetle rather than other beetles is because digging around in excrement and other gross stuff is not something someone with honor would do. Instead, it seems likely someone who, quote, fell off would do. Now this evolution has lost its fighting spirit, and its pre-evolution is trying to help them recover it. Sounds like a plan. Now, if you thought that the pre-evolution Mentitle was round, this one is extra round, especially if you look at its silhouette. It's like just a ball. Now, I know we already had a dung beetle Pokemon in Gen 9 with Relor, but I don't know, I just felt like making another one. And I guess this one would make more sense because it's more unclean, fits into the, fell off. Think of, Iroh in prison in Avatar. I don't know. Now, upon reaching level 35 and being the only Pokemon in your party, Mentitle evolves into Slopbeetle, from Slop or Sloppy and Beetle, a bug ground type. These Pokemon have given up on training other Pokemon and live off of the waste of other Pokemon. While they can still fight, they refuse to and drab at opponents. They usually smell horrid. Oh, and the fact that it doesn't fight anymore and it just wallows in dirt after evolving from being the only Pokemon in your party is because There's no one for it to train. It's all by itself, so it just decides, no, I'm not good enough, and decides to, live off of, dirt. And there you have it. My submission for the 2024 FAKEMON Challenge, Inversion. This was a blast to do, so thanks to theunknownmegaverse for inviting me. And since it's customary to invite 3 people, here are my choices. First, TheLolgan, a longtime friend of mine, and despite being a newcomer to the FAKEMON scene, he has some really cool and spooky art. Second, Scarlet. Scarlet is one of the artists for the incredible Voyard region, as well as making their Greece-inspired Piera. I hope I pronounced that right, region. So go check that out too. And finally, LavaTyrant. You might have heard about him from his recent Mutant Menagerie series. Again, I hope that pronounced that right also. And that was a huge success. On top of that, he's just a cool guy to talk to. But that's it for now. And if you want to join yourself, I'd attach to a link to the rule set made by Red Paragon G in the description, as well as links to all the creators I've mentioned. But that's it for me. See ya, and stay safe.